Alright, we live with it. This ain't gonna be a long show today. It's gonna be probably like a 30-minute show. Just wanted to talk to you guys about the games today. And I promise you guys next week it will be longer. Just made plans and stuff like that, so I apologize. But I promise you that you guys will not miss out on this. You don't want to miss out on this show. It's a good show today. I'm just sending this stuff out. So we live with it. So our first game we gotta talk about is the top 10 game that's going on in Clemson. We'll get our top 25 games out first. I'm just going to be just my predictions, basically. And just talking about that. It's not going to be a long show because I got to get ready around like 10. It's a night game, too. NC State going up against Clemson. Number 10 versus number 5. Clemson's already 2-0 in the ACC, and NC State is 4-0. But NC State beat Clemson last year. So can they repeat it this year down in Clemson? And honestly, I feel like this is going to be a much closer game than most people are thinking. But I do think that Clemson has a slight edge this year. But I think that this could go either way. It could go to Clemson or NC State. It's going to be 50-50. But I do think Clemson has the upper hand. So I got Clemson in this. Don't like saying that. I don't like saying Clemson. But I just got to say Clemson. Then we go to our Ole Miss versus Kentucky. This is a 50-50 game. If I'm going to be really honest with you guys. And Ole Miss is favored by 6.5 points. This is a historic game in this rivalry. For the first time in over 70 years, both teams have started the season 4-0. Yeah, you heard me right, you guys. Both teams have started 4-0 the first time ever that these two teams have faced each other. I think both teams have a really good defense. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Not going to be one of those 50 to 40 games. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think both offenses are decent, but I feel like both of these teams are overrated. I do think both of these teams are overrated. And then my prediction is I think that Ole Miss is going to win through a field goal, game-winning field goal, and it will be 31-28. I think they will hit the over this game, but I also think that the difference maker is that Ole Miss is at home. And honestly, if Kentucky was at home, I would have picked Kentucky. It was just that's how even they were to me. So I just had to go with the home team's home advantage. So 31-28. Then we got my game that I have on my upset watch is Michigan versus Iowa. Iowa, that's where top 5 teams, Kinnick Stadium is where top 5 teams go to get defeated. And do I think Michigan's going to get defeated this game? No, not really. I feel like Michigan is going to beat Iowa, but I think that Iowa's going to give Michigan a run for their money, and this is going to be a statement game for Michigan. Yes, they beat Maryland last week, but I'm sorry, Iowa has the best defense in college football. One of the best defenses, let me say that, because I know people come at me if I don't say one of the best. Then they have the worst offense. So that's why I'm interested to see how Iowa's offense is going to handle it against Michigan. That is what I'm looking forward to seeing. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. At 12 today, we have a lot of games on at 12 that are really good. And we have Oklahoma TCU. I think that is another upset watch. TCU can pull that off. Oklahoma is only favored by 5, and I honestly gotta go with TCU in that. TCU, I think, is going to pull off the upset against number 18 Oklahoma. Then we have Purdue, Minnesota. Mohamed Ibrahim for Minnesota has been amazing this year. Definitely got to be in the Heisman talks, but they're not going to do it because he's a running back, and if he was a quarterback, they would definitely have him up there, but he's not. And we all know how college football is. Same with the NFL, MVP and the Heisman. Now their quarterback awards, they only have their own award, but screw it. We're just going to make it they give them another award. Why not? Then we have Texas Tech versus Kansas State. Think it's going to be a really good game, but I got to go with Kansas State. Got to go with my boy Draco down there. Then we have Oregon State versus Utah. This is another game that is on my upset watch. Oregon State is 3-1 this year. They have had very, very great games, and a lot of people got to start talking about Oregon State. If they beat Utah, I can see them in the top 25, and they are in Utah, so that is where I'm going to say I think Utah is going to win this, but I would not be surprised if Oregon State wins this. So my pick is Utah, but I think it will be a closer game. I think it will be a touchdown or a field goal win for Utah. Then we have Alabama, Arkansas. I feel like this is going to be Alabama's statement game, where Alabama wants to make a statement. They haven't had that this year, where they can prove to teams that, hey, we're still Alabama. We are here to win, and we are here to show why we are the Crimson Tide and everyone fears us. I think that is why Alabama is going to do that. But then I also think that Arkansas' secondary is shaky. They've been shaky this year. Yes, their defensive line has been amazing, but the rest of the defense has been a little bit shaky. So I feel like that's a big, big wound that Alabama will see and will attack. And especially with Heisman winner Bryce Young, they're going to attack that a lot. So that's where I feel like the difference maker is that Arkansas secondary. Then we have Rutgers versus Ohio State. I think Ohio State is going to win that pretty easily. I think Rutgers will give Ohio State a good run for their money in the first half. But then I think Ohio State will come out that second half and just destroy them. Then we got Oklahoma State, number 9, going up against number 16, Baylor. And it's a good game. Baylor's favored by 2.5. But I honestly got to go with Oklahoma State. I feel like Oklahoma State is going to beat Baylor. And if Oklahoma State beats Baylor, I think you will see Baylor drop out of the top 25 or go to like 25. So I got Oklahoma State in there, winning that down in Waco. Then we have Northwestern, Penn State. Penn State Wake Forest versus Florida State, a 22 versus 23 matchup. Florida State is favorite 6 by 6.5. And honestly, I gotta go with Wake in this. I feel like they want to prove a point from losing last week. I do think their offensive coordinator still needs to be fired for running the ball when your quarterback had 5 TDs, but that's not the point. So I think Wake Forest wants to bounce back after that loss against Clemson and prove that they are still a good team. I think they hand Florida State their first loss of the season. Then we have Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. This is an upset watch, but I also do think that Mississippi State may be a little bit overrated. I think that you may see a blowout by Texas A&M, but I do think that Texas A&M is going to win this. But I do think that it is an upset watch game, as Mississippi State is favorite. But I can see this either being an upset by Mississippi State or a blowout by Texas A&M. Already talked about NC State versus Clemson. Then we got Stanford versus Oregon. This is on a couple people's upset watch list. Me, personally, I don't have it on my upset watch list. I actually think that Oregon is going to win this game and go to 4-1 and make Stanford 0-3 in the Pac-12, which would be major. I think that would knock them out of the Pac-12 championship game. And yes, I know that would be major for them. Now we go to our non-top 25 games. The game that I'm looking forward to that is not a top 25 game has to be Iowa State versus Kansas. That game is so interesting to me. Kansas deserves their respect to get on the top 25. I don't care. They're 4-0. Ain't no one expect them to be 4-0. They are number 1 in the Big 12. And this is their first huge test. And I think that they could pull it off. I think Kansas can pull it off against Iowa State. They're at home at David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium. Iowa State is favored by 3.5, but I feel like Kansas just has a chip on their shoulder right now, and they want to prove they deserve to be ranked. So I think that Kansas knows they got disrespected. Their coach has been pumping that in their head that, hey, look, they kept us out of the top 25 again. What are we going to do about that? Well, I think they're going to prove why they're mad that they got taken out of the top 20, that they're not in the top 25. They haven't been ranked yet, and they deserve to be. Then we have Navy versus Air Force. And you guys, I got to go with Air Force here. They are favored by 14. I think they will cover that pretty easily. I feel like they're bringing out these cool blue and black uniforms, or blue helmets and then black uniforms. I just got to go with Air Force. Their uniforms just told me, yeah, we got to go with you. So I feel like I feel like Air Force is going to win that. They're at home too in 63-degree weather. It's colder in Mass. It's going to be colder for the Louisville versus Boston College game. That's crazy. Colorado's warmer than Massachusetts. Person that lives in Massachusetts, what the fuck? Then we got Illinois versus Wisconsin. Illinois is 3-1. Wisconsin is 2-2. And last week they got beat up pretty bad, Wisconsin, by Ohio State. So can they bounce back? We have a great running back battle. We have Braylon Allen versus Chase Brown. Good battle right there for running backs. So is it going to be a running game, or are we going to see a passing game from DeVito in Illinois? Because Mertz, he struggles with passing. We all know it. Mertz really struggles with passing. So inaccurate here, but he has these blimps of you're like he's a star. But then, yeah, I just feel like with this game, I'm going to go with Wisconsin, but I will not be surprised if Illinois can pull it off. But I got Wisconsin. Now let's see. What's my next game that is not top 25, you guys? Well, it is Michigan versus Maryland. Michigan versus Maryland. Michigan's 2-2. Or Michigan State, I meant. I apologize. Michigan State versus Maryland. And I think Michigan State is going to win this because I think Michigan State is out to prove that those 2 losses they took back-to-back weeks, that's not them. They want to prove different, that they are a good team, because they are a really good team. They just took 2 hard losses, and I feel like they need to bounce back after those 2 losses and prove they are a real team. And I think they do it with Maryland. Then we have Virginia Tech versus North Carolina. I think North Carolina, after getting embarrassed by Notre Dame last week in a very high-scoring game, I think they bounce back and pick up a victory in their first ACC victory of the 2022 college football season. I think Drake May is going to lead them to a victory over Virginia Tech. Now we got our next game. Our next game we got is South Alabama versus Louisiana. I almost said Louisville. Louisiana. Who would have thought that South Alabama would be 3-1 and better record than Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Raging Cajuns have been an amazing team the last couple of years, but did their luck run out? I think so. I think that their luck has run out. I think South Alabama will improve to 4-1. Will go down to Lafayette, Louisiana, and beat the Raging Cajuns at home. And then we have California going up against Washington State. What a game we have here. That is, I think we got to talk a little bit more about. I think that we got to talk 3-1. Both teams are 3-1. I got to go with Washington State in this. I think Cameron Ward is mad about what happened last game. And I feel like, I don't know if this is just my opinion, but I feel like Washington State is a huge team of the future. Cameron Ward's only a sophomore. I forgot that he was a sophomore. I thought he was a junior. I thought he was a junior or senior. And he's a sophomore. They have a young team that they can build around. Washington State will be a team of the future to watch out for, I would say. Then we have Liberty Old Dominion. This is going to be a really good game. I do got Liberty beating the Monarchs at Old Dominion. I just think that Old Dominion, they have a good team, but I feel like they're going to be like last year where they win a lot of games at the end of their season. But right now, I feel like Liberty is going to get this win and improve to 4-1. Then we have LSU versus Auburn, the Battle of the Tigers. Who do I got? Screw LSU. We all know damn well I ain't going with LSU when Brian Kelly's weird ass. Nah, I'm good. I'm going with Auburn. We going with Auburn. I hope that Auburn beats the living shit out of LSU. And yeah, that's what I think. Then we have Georgia Southern, who is 3-1, going up against Coastal Carolina, who is 4-0. And I got Coastal Carolina beating Georgia Southern, improving to 5-0 and 2-0 in that Sun Belt. Then we have Troy versus Western Kentucky. Troy is 2-2, and Western Kentucky is 3-1. And I think that Western Kentucky will improve to 4-1 and make Troy fall out of that 500 record and go to 2-3. Then we have West Virginia versus Texas. And I feel like this can be a really good game. I could see it going both ways. I feel like West Virginia wants to prove that they have a good team. But I feel like Texas wants to also show they're back. Show that, hey, yes, we had those. We were back against Alabama. We had a good game against Alabama. And then we went on and lose. I feel like they want to break that streak. But I don't think they will break it. I'm going with a upset here. West Virginia beating Texas in Austin. I got West Virginia. Then we have Indiana versus Nebraska. I got Indiana beating Nebraska. Screw Nebraska at this point. I put my faith in them. Screw them. I don't care. I got Indiana. Believe Indiana's wearing their old throwbacks where they have a red helmet and they have Indiana spelt out, or is it Hoosiers, on the side of the helmet, and how those uniforms are clean. And then after that, we have our FCS games. That was our FBS games. Now we got our FCS games. My FCS games of the week. And who I got, because we have some really good FCS games, but there's going to be a challenge for some of these games. we have our first game is Princeton versus Colombia. Both teams are 2-0. They're in Colombia, but I gotta go with Princeton here. I think Princeton will beat Colombia, but I think it will be a really closer game. A really close game. I think it will be within 3 points to a touchdown. Last night we had a great game between Dartmouth and Penn. Penn in double overtime blocks Dartmouth's kick and goes on to score a touchdown, rush the ball down Dartmouth's throat to get that game-winning touchdown in double overtime. What a game we had for Penn versus Dartmouth. Then we got Holy Cross versus Harvard. Both teams are undefeated, and Holy Cross has looked great this year. And I think that they're going to stay looking great and beat Harvard by 2 touchdowns. I think 2 touchdowns is the way for Holy Cross to beat Harvard. But I think that's a game that you guys should tune into at 1 p.m. on ESPN+. Then we have another game. We have Missouri State going up against North Dakota. Battle in the Missouri Valley Conference. Both teams are 2-2. And we are in the Elon Center in North Dakota. So, what will happen here? Well, I think Missouri State is going to go down there and beat North Dakota by, I honestly don't know how much by, but I think that North Dakota is going to lose and Missouri State is going to win. Then we have Butler versus Davidson. I think Davidson is going to beat Butler. I think they're going to beat Butler pretty handily. Then we have Youngstown State going up against North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome in North Dakota. Who is going to win? North Dakota State. Obviously, North Dakota State is going to beat Youngstown State. Yes, Youngstown State put up a decent fight against Kentucky, but it's North Dakota State, and you can't go against them. I got to go with North Dakota State here. Then we have Southeast Missouri State versus Lindenwood, an Ohio Valley Conference. Lindenwood came up from D2 to the FCS level, and they've looked pretty good. 2-1 so far to start the season, but I think they're going to go to 2-2, and I think Southeast Missouri State is going to beat them and improve to 4-1 on the year. Then we have Samford versus Furman. It's Furman. That one, it's always a struggle for me. I always struggled saying their name. But Samford versus Furman. And I got Furman pulling off the victory. Yes, I know Samford Harris is a great quarterback. 12 TDs, 970 yards. But Furman's passing complements their running so well. I just got to go with Furman and to improve to 4-1 and give Samford their second loss of the year. Then we have Richmond versus Elon. Elon this year has been an upset team. They've been upsetting teams left and right, and I don't think they pull it off against Richmond. Yes, Richmond is going down to Elon, but I just think Richmond will pull it off and go to 4-1, and Elon gave Elon their second loss of the year, but I think it's going to be really, really close. Then we have Chattanooga versus East Tennessee State, and East Tennessee State this year has been a little bit of a disappointment, if I'm going to be honest, and I honestly think the disappointments continue. I think Chattanooga is going to beat East Tennessee State. Not, I would say, by either a touchdown. It's either going to be a very, very close game, or Chattanooga is going to blow them out. I'm hoping it's not a blowout because I do like East Tennessee State, but I think it may happen. Then we have Stephen F. Austin versus Sam Houston, and Sam Houston this year have not looked the same because they're going up to the FCS level or FBS level. They don't look great, honestly. They do not look amazing, and I feel like if you are an FBS fan, you're a little bit worried about Because you see James Madison come up this year, and they look amazing. But Sam Houston, I don't think is going to be the same effect. But you never know. You never know the transition, what's going to happen with the teams. You never know. But I got to go with Stephen F. Austin improving after their 98-0 victory last week, which was just totally wrong. I want to see Sam Houston beat them, but I just feel like the Stephen F. Austin's offense is just too high-powered. Then we got VMI versus Western Carolina, and I want to go with VMI because of Seth Morgan, my boy, quarterback there. But I think Western Carolina is going to beat VMI and improve to 3-2 and give VMI their third loss of the year. Then we got Townsend versus Delaware. And Delaware is 4-0. They've impressed when they played big teams, and Townsend is a big team, and I think they are going to keep running through their opponents, and they are going to run through Townsend. I think Delaware wins and improves to 5-0. Then we got, who else do we got? We have Austin Peay versus Central Arkansas. Austin Peay is 4-1. Central Arkansas is 1-3. I think that Austin Peay is going to beat Central Arkansas and improve to 5-1. Then we have Brown versus Rhode Island. Rhode Island's looking to bounce back and they want to get a win so bad. And I think that they beat Brown and improve to 3-2 on the season. Oh, Ziggy. Then we have Mississippi Valley State versus Florida A&M. Mississippi Valley State has not gotten a win yet, and I don't think they will get a win yet. I'm sorry, Jerry Rice. Your team does not get another win yet, or does not get a win yet. I got Florida A&M beating Mississippi Valley State pretty easily. Then we have Alabama State versus Texas Southern. Another SWAC battle, and I think Alabama State beats Texas Southern and improves to 3-2 and gets their first SWAC conference victory in this season. Then we have Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Southern. I got Arkansas Pine Bluff winning, beating Southern, even though I do like Southern because of their colors, same as mine, baby blue and yellow. I love those colors. But I got to go with Arkansas Pine Bluff picking up that victory in Baton Rouge. Prairie Valley A&M versus Grambling today at 7 in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl. I gotta go with Prairie Valley. Prairie View. I just said Prairie Valley. I apologize. It's Prairie View. It's early. Okay, you guys. It's really early. I'm sorry. But I gotta go with Prairie View. Think they're gonna pick up the victory against Grambling. Then we have Southern Illinois versus Illinois State. I think Southern Illinois is going to continue this amazing run that they've been on 2 straight. Yes, sir. Yeah, what's good, buddy? It's early, bro. It is so freaking early. I'm tired. I have not woken up this early in so damn long. It's not even funny. But I got Southern Illinois. They've been on this 2-game. They just beat their first victory of the season was against Northwestern, an FBS team. They go up against Illinois State now. I think they pick up the victory again, and think it's a pretty easy victory for Southern Illinois. Even though Illinois State is 2-1, I think it's going to still be an easy victory. Okay. So, that is my show for today, you guys. It was short. Sorry, I know it was short. She watching Uncle Kev? But that is my show for today, you guys. I know it's short, but I have something to do after this, or at like 10:30. So I gotta go shower and get ready. But I will try to go live later today to show you guys the games and to talk to you about the games and see what's going on with the games. And yeah, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the KBN Sports Talk family. And until next time, see ya.